and welcome to episode 13 of the Roma Revolution. I'm Ben, and coming up on today's episode we have our first taste of Champions League football in the series as we face Red Bull Leipzig in the group stages, and that is followed by a Serie A game against Sampdoria. Now, in between the episodes, as I said, I've only played one Serie A game. That was against Verona away. We did manage to scrape a 1-0 win. Kulusevski scoring really early on in the game, and then we just sort of saw it out for the rest of the game. We had a few other chances, couldn't quite take them, but we came away with the 3 points nonetheless. Also, since the last episode, the transfer window has shut, but we have been able to bring in a couple more players on loan. We've got Jean-Claire Todibo from Barcelona on loan, a good centre-back. Maybe felt we were just lacking one more option there who was going to be nice and strong. So we've got him who's come in there. He'll probably start to feature a bit more in the games to come, but for now Settin and Mancini are playing really well together, so he's a good player to be able to bring off of the bench. And then an experienced option on the left hand side, we obviously have Kluivert and Malejo out there on the left, but I thought just someone with a bit more experience potentially for these bigger games in the Champions League, and Bernard from Everton did just tick that box. He's not a bad player, he's quite well rounded, really good crossing and dribbling, so someone I hope can provide many a chance for Mason Greenwood. And the reason I bought him in on loan is because we have been able to get rid of Diego Perotti. He's gone for 1.9 million to FC Copenhagen. Not a bad player for me, he was just getting a bit too old, and with the youthful options that we had out there who were very similar to him, I thought it was best to cash in on him now before he saw out the rest of his contract. Two others have gone, Andre Lai and Alessio Batalo, both young prospects who were never going to quite make the grade to feature in the first team. But without further ado, let's get stuck in to the Champions League, and the team that we're going to take to Leipzig is this one. We've got Falanez in goal, a back four of Cucurella, Mancini, Mertz, Settin and Florenzi. Tonali, Vetu and Pellegrini are in the midfield, with Malejo and Kulusevski playing in behind Mason Greenwood up front. A youthful team, but one I'm hoping might just be able to get the better of Leipzig. Obviously, this is probably one of the biggest games we've got in the group stages. I feel that whoever gets the better of each other in this game and the reciprocating home leg against them will probably be the team that finishes second in the group behind Chelsea. So if we can get a result from Leipzig here, then that would be great. Obviously, they've got a great team. Olmo and Werner, probably the two stars, the two young stars as well, who we're going to have to really look out for. Lookman and Sabitzer on the bench, so they're both going to be able to come on and provide a threat to us as well. So we've got to be on top of our game, but the way we've started the Serie A season, I'm hoping that we can be. We are underdogs, but let's just go and give the fans something to cheer for in the first Champions League game that they've seen in a couple of years. And let's get stuck in, and fingers crossed we can transfer some form. We've got a really early highlight, and it looks like it's going to be Leipzig's with Itta to Daka. Back to Itta. Daka's in here. Can he score early? It's a great save again by Faranez. I think in amongst it, Daka was offside, but Faranez still had to make the save just to be sure. And an early sign that Leipzig are going to be able to cause us some trouble here. Obviously, an away start to the Champions League. It's not the easiest, but let's see how we get on. Settin to Tonali. We've popped it round nicely and been able to beat the press with Florenzi on this right-hand side. He's got to make a pass, otherwise he's going to lose it, and he has. And Nkunku can send Daka on his way, who's already shown us his pace early on here. Daka well challenged there at the back, I believe, by Settin. It was Lima it's fallen to, though, after a bit of a muddle at the back. Franco tries to play a ball out to Ritter and finds him, who again finds Daka, who's got Werner in the middle. Werner, the threat as I mentioned before the game. Leipzig go 1-0 up. Are we just not quite going to be good enough for the Champions League this year? It's a well-worked move with Franco pinging it right out to Itter on this right-hand side. Daka has been a nuisance for the first 10 minutes, and Werner is just more committed to getting to that ball than his opposing man, and it is 1-0 Leipzig. And I think we need to start to get a foothold in this game, otherwise our first Champions League action on the series is going to look pretty dire, I think. We've not started well at all. 42% of the possession, not created anything with it. A young side, as I say, maybe the occasion is getting to them. It obviously has been a while, only a couple of years, but a while since a lot of these probably did play in the Champions League. Leipzig have also in the league just beaten Dortmund, who obviously were our nemesis in the Europa League final last year. So this second half is going to be tough. It's been a poor game so far, and I think we're going to have to get into the boys and tell them to go out there and play a lot better than that if we want to bring anything away from the Leipzig game. Chelsea and Besiktas yet to play each other, it would seem. But the first highlight of the second half may well be ours. Florenzi with the long throw. Greenwood gets up ahead of the goalkeeper, and Mason Greenwood, 2 minutes after half-time, scores his fourth Roma goal, his first in the Champions League. And we have levelled. Florenzi with the long throw. Greenwood beats his man and the goalkeeper, who's come miles off his line to collect the ball. Galaxy maybe an error there. He didn't need to come for that one, but Greenwood has put us back in the game, and a draw against Leipzig away, I feel, would be a very positive result to start our Champions League journey. We've not done badly. We seem to be better in this second half. We've not given Leipzig much, but it is them, it seems, will have the chance. Olmo with the ball in. Franco at the back post, and it's 2-1 Leipzig. Franco, a player that I also did look at in the transfer window, but he was going to not fit with the EU signings, and Franco's easily beaten his man there. And unfortunately now it's 2-1 and we've got a mountain to climb again. But Florenzi plays Kulusevski in on this right-hand side, who's beaten to it by Upamecano. And Dakar, they're away again. They're really good on the counter. Wolf is in. Could this be Fee? Fraranez with a great save. Keeps us in the game for now. But changes to be made. Cucurella not playing well at all on the left-hand side. So we'll see Spinazzola on for him. Kulusevski as well, struggling on the right. Let's get some experience, a little bit more experience rather, on in Zaniolo. They're the two subs we're going to make. We are going to go attacking. I would like to bring something away from this first game. We're going to demand some more. We've not been bad, but we certainly haven't been at a standard where we'd be able to beat Leipzig. And it looks like it's going to be a bit of a reality check in the Champions League that potentially we aren't quite going to be good enough yet. And with 7 minutes to go, we need to make that one last change. Malejo just struggling for fitness on this side. So let's see if the experience of Bernard can do anything for us. He's going to go attacking, as is Florenzi. We're going to push Pellegrini into his advanced playmaker role up ahead. Tonali as well. He's going to go in there and play a bit more of a 4-2-3-1. And can we just nab a late goal in this one? As I say, it's not been our best of games. We've not played well at all. And as time ticks towards 5 minutes of added time, are we going to see anything from us? A game that if we do, we'd be extremely lucky because we have not deserved to come away with anything here. And we don't. Leipzig run out the winners. How big could that result be later on in the Champions League campaign? It's going to take a lot now, I think, for us to qualify. We're going to have to get some results against Chelsea and definitely beat Leipzig when they come back to us at the Stadio Olimpico. But we weren't good enough, and it's a bit of a reality check. But hopefully we can improve when we play Sampdoria in a second. Okay, then a couple changes for the Sampdoria game. Kolarov comes in on this left-hand side to replace Cucurella. Bernard also replacing Malejo, so a complete change on the left-hand side. Diawara comes in for his first start of the season in midfield, and loan signing Todibo at the back partners Mancini. Just a few more experienced heads in Kolarov, Bernard and Diawara, just to see if that might make the difference, make us play a bit better. I do wonder if the team we went to Leipzig with was a little bit too young, but we'll find out today. Sampdoria lying in fourth, so they also have had a good start to the season, so a positive result would go a long way for us to just start to separate from our rivals around us. The other Champions League game in our group, Besiktas, actually drew 1-1 with Chelsea at home, so there is still a chance potentially that a couple of good results we could make it through, of course, to the knockout stage. And that's all the board are looking for us to do, is to get through to that first knockout stage. I'm expecting us to keep the run going in Serie A. Hopefully the league form will stay positive and then we can reciprocate that into the Champions League. The assistant's going to go to the tunnel, and let's get into a big game in Serie A. Therefore, an early highlight for us. Kolarov to Mason Greenwood, who scored again in the first minute of the game. Mason Greenwood looks like a phenomenal loan signing. That's his 5th goal of the season, his 4th in Serie A, and he's found at the back post by Kolarov, and Greenwood heads home. And wow, has he set Roma on fire to start with. We've got Farinez with it at the back. Todibo in for his first game. Out to Florenzi. Florenzi into Pellegrini. To Kulusevski with Akers in front of him. So right into it. He cuts inside instead. He's going towards his left with Bernard. Bernard! He's hit the post! What a start we've had to the game. Greenwood looking unbelievable. Someone I thought I'd come in and have as a bit of rotation, but I think he's made that striking spot his own. It's fallen to Tonali on the edge of the area. To Florenzi. Takes on his man. No, he doesn't. Tonali. Florenzi. Can he get a ball across? Tonali. Florenzi just popping it between each other at the moment. Florenzi's been taken down. If anything, it's a free kick, I think, looking at where the foul has been made. The ref is going to go to VAR. I think we may have a free kick on the edge of the area. If anything, I don't think it was inside. We'll obviously soon find out. Here we go. He's back on the pitch. No penalty as I thought. It is a free kick on the edge of the area. Are we going to see it? We are. Pellegrini with a chance to whip the ball across the face of goal. Can he do so? He does. Oh, we can't quite get on the end of it. But Todibo to Mancini, and that is that. A positive start. Florenzi making inroads on the right. Kolarov obviously making inroads on the left. Set pieces have really been key for us here at Roma throughout, and we've scored from another one. And if we can beat Sampdoria, as I say, they've got 7 points from their first 3 games, so they also are unbeaten. It would be a good start to the season for us. We haven't seen much since those early chances. I would just like another goal just to maybe make things a bit more comfortable. Again, as we said last season, there were so many games where we were 1 or 2-0 up and chuck them away, and I'd hate for this to be another one, but it looks like we're going to see it through to half time. It's 1-0. We've been okay. We haven't allowed them anything in the attacking form, so we've done really well at the back. It's a shame we haven't seen more of those 6 shots that were on target. Guard against complacency indeed. Let's get back out there. Pellegrini has picked up a slight knock. It's a potential foot injury, so he'll probably be coming off halfway through the half. But mainly we're not playing great. Pellegrini has been injured. Maybe someone I should have taken off earlier was trying to risk him perhaps too much. Diawara is going to go as an advanced playmaker, therefore we'll bring Vertu on to play in the box-to-box midfield role. And a change potentially earlier than we would like to, but we've been forced into it. But can we see out the rest of the game? We're being dominated a bit in this second half possession-wise. But again, we're not seeing anything from Sampdoria in form of shots. We are still, by the looks of it, getting our own efforts away. But again, we're not seeing anything of those. It seems to be that the two teams are just equaling each other out, it would seem. Kulusevski not having a good game on the right. So Zaniolo is going to come in for him. We're also just going to leave it, but Diawara on a tightrope, as is Bernard, with regards to their performances so far. We've been average, it has to be said. We haven't exactly set the world alight with this performance, but if we can get a win, it would go a long way into us realising our dreams, really, of the Serie A title, but probably more realistically this year, just picking up that Champions League spot again. Fitness is looking to be the issue at the moment. Tonali is obviously key for us, so we'll bring Diawara back there. Vertu can come on. Vertu can stay on, rather. Cristante can come on to play in the advanced playmaker role. And that will be the final change. With 5 minutes to go, we've not had much of the possession. We've had more of the shots. And it looks like we are just going to see out a 1-0 win. Nothing to see from the game at all in the second half. As time ticks by, 1 minute left of added time. We do see something. Kolarov with the ball in. Mason Greenwood. Another goal for Mason Greenwood. That is now his 6th goal of the season. 5 in Serie A. He can't stop scoring. Todibo nods it on by the looks of it. It sort of just hits Greenwood and goes in. And wow, have we got a young star on our hands. 2-0 then against Sampdoria. Completely dominated the game with regards to when we had the ball. They had more of the possession, but they could only generate one shot from it. A convincing victory, and that does seem to be a more positive performance than that we had against Leipzig. Hopefully, if we keep playing like that in Serie A, that form will soon translate across into the Champions League. Next time then we'll play through and we will have the Chelsea game in the Champions League. Potentially a big game by then if we've managed to beat Besiktas and Leipzig keep winning. That will be doubled up. We'll skip the Udinese game and we'll have the Derby della Capitale against Lazio, our first of the season. So a big episode coming up next time. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already to ensure you don't miss it. If you have enjoyed today's video, please leave a like down below, and thank you all for coming along and watching.